The soft glow of the early morning light peeked through the curtains as Amina rubbed her sleepy eyes. The sound of soft whispers and the clinking of plates from the kitchen meant only one thing. It was suhoor time. Today was special. Today, Amina would attempt her first full fast, and she would do it with Grandma. Excitement bubbled in her chest as she hurried to the kitchen, where the aroma of warm porridge and dates filled the air. Grandma stood by the stove, her hands moving gracefully as she prepared their pre-dawn meal. "Are you ready for your big day, my dear?" Grandma asked with a warm smile. Amina nodded eagerly. "Yes, Grandma. I want to fast just like you and Mama and Baba." Grandma chuckled, setting a bowl of porridge in front of Amina. "Fasting isn't just about not eating and drinking, my love. It's about patience, kindness, and growing closer to Allah." Amina listened carefully, savoring each spoonful of porridge as Grandma continued. "This month teaches us self-control and gratitude. It reminds us that we are blessed, and we must always remember those who have less." As the call for Fajr, prayer echoed. Amina drank her last sip of water, feeling determined. The fast had begun. By midday, Amina's stomach grumbled and her mouth felt dry. The sun outside blazed, making everything feel hotter. She watched her little brother happily munch on an apple, and her resolve wavered. "Grandma," she whispered, "fasting is really hard." Grandma gently took Amina's hands and guided her to the window. "Look outside, my dear. See that tree?" Amina nodded, following Grandma's gaze to the tall tree in their garden. "That tree stands strong in the wind and the heat. It doesn't complain. It takes what comes and continues to grow." Grandma's eyes twinkled. "We, too, must stand strong. Hard times will come, but they will pass. And when we are patient, Allah rewards us in ways we cannot imagine." Amina took a deep breath, feeling a spark of courage inside her. She wanted to be strong like the tree. As Maghrib approached, the delicious scent of Grandma's special soup filled the house. Amina sat at the table, watching the seconds tick by on the clock. Her stomach rumbled loudly, but she smiled. She had made it. The adhan finally rang through the air. Grandma handed Amina a date. "Bismillah," she whispered, and Amina took the sweetest bite she had ever tasted. The water felt cool and refreshing as she sipped, and relief washed over her. "I did it, Grandma," she said, beaming. Grandma pulled her into a warm embrace. "Yes, you did, my dear. And more importantly, you learned the true strength of fasting, not just in hunger, but in patience, gratitude, and faith." As they prayed together, Amina felt a warmth in her heart. She had learned a lesson she would carry forever. That night, as Amina curled up in bed, she whispered a small prayer of thanks. She now understood why Ramadan was special. It wasn't just about fasting. It was about becoming a better person. The next morning, she woke up even before Grandma. "I'm ready for another fast," she declared. Grandma chuckled and kissed her forehead. "That's the spirit, my love. Every fast is a step closer to becoming the best version of yourself." Amina smiled, knowing that each day of Ramadan would bring new lessons and new blessings. If you loved Amina's journey and the wisdom of her grandma, don't forget to like and share. Let's spread the beauty of Ramadan and its valuable lessons with everyone. In a lively little town, in a cheerful school painted with bright blue walls, sat a classroom full of giggles, pencils scratching, and chattering voices. Among the chatter sat Amira, a quiet, thoughtful girl with big, curious eyes. She never shouted the loudest, never raised her hand first, and never interrupted anyone. Most people thought she was just shy. But Amira had a secret. She believed that words were like seeds. If you plant good ones, they grow into something beautiful. One day during recess, Amira noticed a boy sitting alone by the swings. His name was Rafi, a new student. His clothes were a little dusty, his backpack a bit torn, and his eyes a little sad. Other kids whispered about him. "Why doesn't he talk much? His clothes are old. He's weird." But Amira didn't join the whispers. Instead, she walked up to him and said softly, "Amira, "Hi, I'm Amira. I like your drawings. Want to play after lunch?" Rafi looked up in surprise. No one had really spoken to him, only about him. At lunch, Amira invited Rafi to sit at her table. She introduced him to her friends and even shared her favorite cookies. Soon, Rafi began to smile more. He laughed at jokes. He started drawing pictures again, only this time they were full of color and hope. The teacher announced a class project. Each of you will say something kind about the person next to you. Some groaned, some giggled. When it was Rafi's turn, he stood up, held his sketchbook, and turned to Amira. Rafi. A week ago, I thought nobody saw me, but then someone whispered kindness into my life. That whisper, it was the loudest sound I've ever heard. The classroom fell silent. A whisper had changed everything. The class later painted a mural on the school wall. In the middle of it was a giant tree. Underneath it were words in big, bold letters. Kindness doesn't need to shout to be heard. Amira smiled. She hadn't spoken the most words, but she had spoken the right ones. Sometimes the softest words carry the strongest messages. A kind word, a gentle smile, a small act of care. These things echo louder than anger or noise. So, be like Amira. Whisper kindness, and you'll speak louder than the world ever could. Like if you believe in the power of kindness. Share too. Spread good words and warm hearts. Subscribe for more stories that speak to the soul. Once upon a time in a peaceful village, there lived a kind-hearted boy named Amir. He was 10 years old and full of curiosity about the world. One day, while walking with his grandmother, he asked, "Grandma, what is Ramadan, and why do we fast?" During this special month, his grandmother smiled gently and said, "Ramadan is not just about fasting, Amir. It's a time for us to grow closer to Allah, to practice patience, kindness, and to help those who are in need. It's a month of learning, sharing, and growing our hearts." Amir was eager to understand, so his grandmother explained further. Fasting means we don't eat or drink from dawn until sunset, but the true essence of Ramadan is much more than just not eating. It's about controlling our desires, showing empathy for others, and focusing on being better people. Amir decided he would take part in fasting for the first time. He was excited and a little nervous, but he trusted his grandmother's words. He began by waking up early before the sun rose for the pre-dawn meal, called suhoor. His mother helped him prepare a healthy meal that would give him energy for the day. The first few days were challenging for Amir. He felt hungry and thirsty, but each time he struggled, he remembered what his grandmother said. Ramadan is a time to learn patience. He learned that by controlling his hunger and thirst, he could also control other things in his life, like his temper and impatience. As the days passed, Amir noticed something wonderful. He began helping his mother more around the house without being asked. He cleaned his room without complaining, and he even shared his toys with his younger sister, Hannah. His heart felt light, and he felt closer to Allah with every act of kindness. One day, Amir saw a neighbor struggling to carry heavy bags of groceries. He didn't hesitate to run over and help, even though he was tired from fasting. The neighbor smiled and thanked him, and Amir felt proud knowing he had done something good. As the last few days of Ramadan approached, Amir felt a sense of peace. He had learned so much about patience, kindness, and gratitude. He realized that Ramadan wasn't just about fasting from food, but fasting from selfishness, anger, and impatience. It was about filling his heart with love and understanding. On the day of Eid, the celebration at the end of Ramadan, Amir felt a deep sense of happiness. He had completed his fasts and learned valuable lessons. His family gathered together, smiling and sharing delicious food. Amir shared the story of his journey during Ramadan with his friends, and they all agreed that they would try to be kinder, more patient, and more generous, just like Amir. So friends, Ramadan teaches us the importance of patience, empathy, and kindness. It's not just about fasting from food, but fasting from bad habits and focusing on becoming the best version of ourselves. By helping others and being grateful for what we have, we can make the world a better place. Just like Amir, you too can be a source of kindness and positivity. Ramadan reminds us that every small act of goodness makes a big difference. Let's all try to carry the spirit of Ramadan with us every day, not just in the holy month, but throughout the year. Remember, patience, kindness, and sharing are the keys to happiness. Like and share if you believe that kindness and patience can change the world. Amina stood in front of a beautiful toy store, her eyes glued to the shimmering doll in the window. It had golden braids, a sparkling pink dress, and a tiny tiara. If only I had enough money, she sighed. But then, she noticed something across the street, an old man sitting on the sidewalk shivering in the evening breeze. He held a small sign that read, "Hungry. Any help is a blessing." Amina felt a tug in her heart. She had saved just enough money for the doll. But as she looked at the man, she remembered what her mother always said. Real happiness isn't in what we buy, but in what we give. Taking a deep breath, Amina turned away from the doll store and rushed to a nearby bakery. With the money she had, she bought a warm meal and a bottle of water. She walked over to the old man and handed it to him. His tired eyes widened in surprise. "For me?" he asked, his voice shaking. "Yes," Amina smiled. "Ramadan is a time for sharing, and I wanted to share with you." Tears welled up in his eyes as he whispered, "May Allah bless you, little one." He smiled, a warm, grateful smile that made Amina's heart feel lighter than ever. As she walked home, she no longer thought about the doll. Instead, she felt something much greater, a deep, joyful feeling that she had done something good. She realized that the happiness of giving lasted much longer than the happiness of getting. That night, when she told her mother about it, her mother hugged her tightly. "Amina, you've found the secret to true happiness. The joy of giving never fades." So friends, sometimes we think happiness comes from what we buy, but real joy is in what we give. Even a small act of kindness can bring a big smile to someone's face. This Ramadan, let's share, give, and spread goodness, because Allah blesses those who help others. Let's be the reason someone smiles today. Like, share, and spread kindness. There was once a man named Ayan, a successful businessman in his late 30s. On the surface, he had it all: a good job, a comfortable home, and a circle of friends. But beneath all of that, he carried a heavy burden, one that had followed him quietly like a shadow for 5 long years. It all began on an ordinary afternoon. Ayan had an argument with his childhood friend, Bilal. Not just any argument, it was sharp, loud, and filled with harsh words that neither of them truly meant. It started over something trivial, a misunderstanding in their work partnership, but it escalated quickly. In the heat of anger, Ayan accused Bilal of betrayal, and Bilal, hurt and shocked, walked away without a word. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months, and then into years. Pride is a silent wall. Ayan thought about apologizing so many times. So many nights as he lay awake, he remembered Bilal's hurt eyes and wished he could turn back time. But every time he thought of picking up the phone, a voice in his head would whisper, "It's been too long. What will he say? He probably hates you now." So Ayan buried the guilt under piles of work, achievements, and distractions. But guilt has a way of finding you at Tati, weddings, at gatherings, or when he passed by their old favorite tea shop. Memories would flood back. Laughter shared over steaming cups of chai. The support they gave each other during hard times. And then, the argument. One day, 5 years later, Ayan attended a community event. As fate would have it, Bilal was there too, across the hall, speaking to someone else. Ayan's heart pounded in his chest. His palms felt sweaty. He had 2 choices: pretend he didn't see him, or take the step he should have taken 5 years ago. Something inside him stirred, a quiet courage. He took a deep breath and walked towards Bilal. As he stood before his old friend, Ayan's voice trembled, but he spoke from the depths of his heart. Bilal, I know it's been years, but not a day has passed that I haven't regretted that fight. I was wrong, my words were wrong. My pride kept me silent for too long. I'm sorry, my brother. There was a moment of silence that felt like forever. Then, Bilal's eyes softened. He let out a deep sigh and said, Ayan, I've been waiting 5 years to hear that. I forgave you a long time ago, but hearing you say it now, it means the world. They embraced, not just as old friends, but as brothers healing old wounds. That moment lifted a weight off Ayan's heart that he didn't even realize had grown so heavy. They sat together, shared tea once again, and it was as if the years of distance melted away. So friends, always remember that it's never too late to say sorry. Time does not heal everything. Courage and humility do. Don't let pride steal your chance at making things right. Sometimes all it takes is one brave step to rebuild bridges you thought were lost forever. If this story touched your heart, remember to like this video to spread the message. Share it. You never know who needs to hear this today. Let's make the world a better place, one apology at a time. Everyone carries something, but not everything they carry can be seen. This is the story of Ayan and the invisible backpack, a story that shows us how a little kindness can carry someone a long way. It's a school playground. Kids are playing. Happily, swinging, skipping, chasing balls. At Hillside Elementary, Ayan was known for his big smile and curious mind. He loved solving riddles, collecting shiny stones, and helping his teacher carry books. But one day, something changed. Ayan wasn't smiling. He wasn't running to class. He looked tired, like he was carrying something heavy but no one could see anything. In the classroom, teacher is cheerful, kids settle in. Ayan slouches in his chair. Ayan, are you okay? Asked Miss Sophia. Ayan nodded quietly, but didn't say a word. Another student whispers to a friend, why is Ayan acting weird? Nobody knew that Ayan had been up all night. His baby sister had a fever, and his parents were rushing her to the hospital. He had to stay up, help with chores, and even feed himself breakfast. As Ayan walks through the school hallway, an invisible backpack slowly fades into view on his back. It's full of glowing stones labeled worry, tired, fear, confusion. Ayan was carrying something, an invisible backpack filled with heavy feelings no one could see. Another student, Mina, noticing Ayan struggling to tie his shoelaces. Hey, Ayan, want help? Ayan nods. Mina kneels and ties his laces. That small act made one of the heavy stones disappear. His backpack got just a little bit lighter. Later, a friend offers to share lunch. Another lets Ayan cut in line. The teacher gives him a sticker and says, I'm proud of you for coming to school today. Every kind word, every little gesture, took away a stone from Ayan's invisible backpack. Backpack starts glowing brighter and lighter until it gently vanishes. But later that day, someone else was carrying an invisible backpack too. Now Mina is walking, with her invisible backpack full of stones, lonely, left out, sad. And guess who noticed? Ayan comes by and shares his extra snack. He says, want to play tomorrow? Because once you understand how it feels, you never want someone else to carry that weight alone. So friends, we all carry invisible backpacks, some heavier than others. So be the reason someone's burden gets a little lighter, because kindness is magic, and it doesn't need a reason. Did this story make your backpack feel a little lighter? Then, like this video if you believe kindness matters. Share it with a friend. You never know whose day you might brighten. And don't forget to subscribe for more heart-touching stories every week. Let's make the world a kinder place, one story at a time. He had only one shoe, and people laughed at him. But when he gave it away, something incredible happened. Ibrahim was a poor village boy. Every day he walked 3 miles to school, not because he loved studying, but because school was the only place he felt seen. His foot hurts on gravel. Kids whisper and laugh. He only had one shoe, not one pair, just one shoe. His mother had found it in a garbage pile, cleaned it, and said, "It's not perfect, but it'll get you there." A teacher looks with pity but says nothing. "Ibrahim, why don't you wear the other shoe?" He stayed silent. He had learned long ago that explaining poverty doesn't make it disappear, but deep down, he believed Allah was watching. He believed that maybe, just maybe, this missing shoe was part of a bigger journey. On his way back, he saw another boy, younger, shivering, barefoot. Ibrahim looked at his only shoe, and without a word, he took it off. Ibrahim walks away, completely barefoot now, smiling softly, despite the pain. His foot bled, his steps were slow, but his heart was light. The next day, Ibrahim comes to school with bandaged feet. Everyone stares. The principal called him in. "Ibrahim," he said, "why are you barefoot today?" He quietly answered, "I gave my shoe to someone who needed it more." The principal smiles. A teacher enters holding a new box. "Someone saw what you did," he said. "Not just someone, a visitor from the city who runs a school for gifted children. He saw your kindness and your grades. He wants to give you a full scholarship." The boy who once walked with one shoe now had a path paved with opportunity. Ibrahim, years later, grown up, speaking at a school. Kids listen wide-eyed. "I used to think Allah had forgotten me," he says, "but I didn't know. Sometimes, blessings come through broken things. Even a broken shoe, one act of kindness, one broken moment, can open the doors to blessings beyond what you prayed for." So friends, never underestimate a small good deed. Allah sees what others ignore. If this story touched your heart, hit the like button. Share it with someone who needs hope today. And remember, sometimes losing something is how Allah gives us everything. Subscribe for more stories that shine.